All right, draft 2 of the Arena Open for Shadows Remastered. We're hopping in, and we do have a double elimination, which is nice since we did 4-0 the first draft. Going in again with that same strategy, hopefully open up a busted rare that just gives us a direction. But I am, other than that, looking at kind of blue and green cards to help direct me the most because I think they go into the most archetypes, like blue-green clues, like our first draft, blue-red spells, green-white humans. Um, Green based delirium decks, which was kind of what we had in our first deck as well. So a lot of room there. But there's also some other good archetypes like black red vampires. Don't really like black too much as a color in this format because it's very shallow. But if you are going to end up in one of those decks, black red vampires is quite good. So let's hop on in. All right. We did open up a very good rare. Bygone Bishop is quite strong. It basically just gives your aggro, mid range, whatever deck, a bunch of extra cards over the course of the game. So that's definitely going to be better than basically any common or uncommon. And there's not even the absolute busted commons and uncommons to take it over. The other rare in the pack, Divine Reckoning, kind of looks like a Wrath. I've put it in one deck before, and it's really just not a good card. So definitely not going to take that one. And then what are we looking for in this pack? We have Apothecary Guys, Vessel of Nascency as sort of the good cards. Following that, Olivia's Dragoons. So, all that stuff will probably be gone. We might wheel like a Terrarian, maybe Compelling Deterrence. If we end up in Spirits, that could be a possibility. Take Inventory is worth noting. If there's enough of those running around, then you want to collect them all. So start this, but really we're just going to be pretty flexible to what we're seeing after that. Past in Flames, not really a card that you're looking for, I don't think, in this format. Very hard to make work. It could work in blue-red spells if you have like a crazy version of it, but I'm not going to go down that road after Bygone Bishop. I think the single best card in the pack is maybe the Geese's Bidding, but again, I don't really want to be in black. But I think probably the second best card in the pack is Bound by Moonsilver because this is a pretty weak pack. So getting a removal spell that's on color to our Bygone Bishop as being one of the best cards in the pack means we can kind of just follow that road and hope for the best. But we'll kind of take note that we are sending a lot of good black cards down to our neighbors. Also just some decent red and white and blue aggro cards too. If we take a look, it looks like they took the rare out of the pack because Past in Flames is the past Shadows of the Past card. Wow. So Sage of Ancient Lore and Lingering Souls, both insane cards. Probably neither should really be in the pack because commons were taking over both of those cards. Um, or maybe this is a flip rare, so maybe no. I think they probably took a rare and a common over these. But anyways, I think I'm gonna go with Lingering Souls. It's about on the power level of Sage of Ancient Lore and just doesn't require us to go into a new color. We can find some way to have a little bit of black mana in our deck to splash it on the flashback, or we just go into white black in general. That would be fine too. But notably, passing a Sage of Ancient Lore, fourth pick is a huge sign. Both of those would be huge signs, though. I'd rather cut the person out of white on my left. There's a ton of good white cards in the pack too, so that's really looking good for us as well. I obviously can't influence what people are going to take underneath me. So this is interesting because the best card in the pack is Vessel of Nascency, I think. But I did just pass a good green card. Not that that really matters that much in terms of signaling, but what it means is I think I'd take the Vessel. People underneath me are still going to go into green, and so we'll fight over it a little bit in pack 2. But I do think this is the best card in the pack, and it helps bin the Lingering Souls and helps find black mana for it. So, I mean, green-white is normally an aggro deck, and if I go into green-white from here, it's really not an aggro deck. But that's okay because the rest of the pack just wouldn't be cards I'm that interested in anyways, picking that aggressively. So this leaves my options open a bit more. There isn't Olivia's Dragoons, which is interesting. Like if we wanted to go actual white-black. But I kind of like picking up the feeling of dread in case we go more like white-blue spirits. There's an essence flux too, which is nice. Notably, though, I haven't really seen any good blue cards. So even though the feeling of dread is here, maybe I shouldn't take it. But Olivia's Dragoon in white-black is not particularly good. This is the problem with the black cards. There's a ton of... They're good black cards, but they don't go with my cards. So do I take Feeling of Dread? Or I could take Weirding Wood, which helps splash Lingering Souls. Maybe that's just the road I go and just splash everything. Startled Awake. That is a powerful effect. We don't really have any werewolves. That's a red, green, gold card. So what other options do we have in this pack? Lab Brute doesn't really work. We could take a Swift Spinner, but it's a sideboard card. I think I'm willing to take Startled Awake and see if it works out. And because basically this card, if it ever hits your opponent, it just mills them for 26, which so it's not really a mill strategy, it's just a single card mill strategy. Then we have a Shrill Howler here, which is great, and a Jace's Scrutiny, which is also great. I feel like the Shrill Howler is a bigger sign though because it's uncommon, but the Jace's Scrutiny, we just got the Startled Awake. I have a ton of 3-drops though, so I don't even really want the Shrill Howler, so I think I'm just going to take Jace's Scrutiny. I think it fits our curve better and our cards. And we haven't really seen that much good green outside of the Vessel. I'm going to take Tattered Haunter for curve considerations. I might still be able to go into Blue-White Spirits. Unfortunately, I passed the Feeling of Dread over the Weirding Wood, but I hadn't really seen any blue cards up to that point. But I think the lane is still possibly open. Wow, the Vessel wheeled as well. But so did the Take Inventory and the Compelling Deterrence. Maybe I'm supposed to be green-blue again. I don't know. This card is so good. I can just take this and then any Delirium I seen is now just active. I think it's worth taking. Like, having those two means I can kind of do anything. And now we can take Forsaken Sanctuary, which lets us splash Lingering Souls. I think that's better than Briarbridge Patrol at this point. I think Mockery of Nature. If we get some things... Oh, it's also really good with Startled Awake, because I can bring Persistent Nightmare back and then Mockery of Nature that. But it's also a really good sideboard card and nothing else. And I guess Strength of Arms if it goes more that direction. I don't think Wolfkin Bond is that necessary because sometimes that card's good with Delirium, but I have 2 enchantments to sacrifice anyways. Wow, everything came back. This is tough. I could still go the Spirits road, but I have the 2 Vessels, so I think I'm going to take the Wildfield Scarecrow and leave the option open for Delirium. Laboratory Brute, really good with Mockery of Nature here. So more of like a mid-range deck we have right now. But there is Thraben Inspector, probably going to be the pick. And then again, going down like a green-white Delirium base, potentially. Didn't see a ton of white pack 1, but I may see a decent amount pack 2 here. But I did get past that Lingering Souls 3rd pick, so it's possible white is still just open in my seat. And we wield the Feeling of Dread. So again, I could kind of go more aggro with the Strength in Arms Humans build, but I have a lot of flexibility with where I want to go right now. And Thraben Inspector continues that flexibility. Whereas Town Gossipmonger is always aggressive and pretty good in those builds, but we might not even end up in those spots. Notably, there was the white-black removal spell in that pack. If no one else is in that lane, I might get that actually on the wheel, which would be a huge boon. Let's do a quick human check. Right now we have 1 other human, so I'm not going to take Courageous Outrider. The double green on Spirit is kind of awkward, and it's at a congested point in my curve, so probably not the pick here. I think my interests are Gnarlwood Dryad, Forbidden Alchemy, and Spontaneous Mutation. I think I just have to take the Dryad at this point, and then hopefully wheel one of those. Because we already have an instant, 2 sorceries, an artifact, and 4 enchantments. So I'm going to make this like a 3/3 a lot of the time. relatively quickly thanks to the vessel. Another Bound by Moonsilver. There's also Travel Prep. I do like travel preparations, but I don't know if this is the deck for it. Because we're just not that aggressive. Whereas if I take another Bound by Moonsilver, we have a lot of outs to just stop our opponents. Yeah, I don't know that I'm aggressive enough for travel preparations. Ooh, hello. That's a good one to go find with our vessels. It's a reason to be in this lane. There's not really a reason for us to be in blue at this point, which is interesting, even though I got all these cards pretty late. They don't really work with my cards all that well. But I can find blue mana if I really want to with the vessels, so I should just keep that open. Not really seeing good blue cards either here, but I am seeing good green and white cards. So slower green-white, which is incredibly unusual, but is kind of the lane we're in. Here I might take the Shrill Howler. Unless I want a Woodland Stream. I don't love the curve of no 2-drops, all 3-drops, but it's not actually as bad as it looks because Graven Inspector and Vessel of Nascency are both give me something to do on turn 2. So a bunch of 1s and a bunch of 3s actually can work, despite it looking really weird. Fortified Village versus Guardian Priest. This is a human that I can return with the Bruna, so there is some value there. The land is nice just because I might want to be playing a lot of colors, but right now I don't have a lot of humans and spirits to bring back with the Bruna. Oh, angels or humans, sorry. I really don't have a lot of those. I just have literally one human. So I think the priest gives our deck a little bit more value because we have Bruna. Feeling of Dread can buy us some time, and I think maybe at this point that's just all we need. If I had a ton of clues, we could do the Fleeting Memories road, but we don't really need to because I already have some big things to help us win the game. And I have Lingering Souls, which can go pretty easily over the top. If I do types check right now, we have 1 instant, 2 sorceries, 1 artifact, 5 enchantments. So pretty good spread overall for Delirium. Not a ton of payoffs, but I'm hoping in pack 3 we'll get some. Biting Rain could be a sideboard card with Weirding Wood, but I actually kind of like Tamio's Journal. I can find it with Vessel in slow games and just bin it in when I don't need it. And it can be the type of card that can win the game on its own. Ooh, Knot of the Bone, I think, is actually pretty good in this creature build. We are pretty well set up for a spider spawning style deck. Wield the Outrider. We have 2 humans at this point. Versus Port Town. I guess Port Town might be better because I have the Feeling of Dread. So if I play like a single island, that's already like kind of enough. And I'm not going to get that many more humans for the Outrider. Ooh, Epitaph Golem. Yep. We want to go really... Ooh, and Apothecary Geist. That's a really good pickup with Lingering Souls. I imagine I am not going to be playing the blue cards, but we'll see. Blank on the rares, but I did open a Thraben Inspector. So again, having the 1-drops, which sets up plays on turn 2, is nice. Grapple with a Pass would be good in my deck, but I don't even have that much Delirium, so it really isn't that important. I'd rather have the creature to fuel the Knot of the Bone, and it's a human to bring back with Bruna. Ooh, hello. Well, we're getting past a bunch of white and green rares, so I really can't complain about that. I think we're in a pretty clear lane, even if it's a very strange deck. I've never drafted a deck like this in this format. Normally, these lanes are entirely aggressive, but if I just look at what the deck looks like here, I have the black and the white splash already settled. I could play an island or a plains, but I don't even necessarily have to. The Noose Constrictor would be great too, but I think Thalia is just enough better. 3/2 first strike body is just really hard to get through. Also a human to bring back with Bruna. Yeah, a lot of really good blue cards, but again, I think that ship has kind of sailed. I'd rather just take a grapple. If I happen to mill something, then I can always get it back later. And I turbo through my deck so then I can Epitaph Golem and make sure that I can set up my like looping shenanigans. And it gives me something to do on turn 2. Mausoleum Wanderer. No. Unburial Rites? Maybe. Honestly, pretty good in my deck. I have Mockery of Nature and Bruno that I can bring back on the cheap. And I can mill it pretty easily with Vessel and Grapple, or I could just hardcast it with a Swamp. I think that's pretty solid. 12 creatures, so I could Gnaw to the Bone. Or I can Weirding Wood to set these up. But I don't really want a Weirding Wood because I have so many 3-drops. I kind of just want to Gnaw to the Bone with all my milling. Because if I get another Grapple with a pass, this Gnaw to the Bone strategy is just really, really solid. Although I might be able to even wheel it out of this pack. I think that's kind of greedy. Ooh. Okay, Weirding Wood versus... I think if I just take the Foul Orchard, a single Swamp off Wild Field Scarecrow is going to be enough. And I already have enough playables, so it's going to be hard to make cuts from my deck, so land gives us just more options at that point. Confirm Suspicions is insane. Clear Shot's insane. I think we just have to take Clear Shot out of on power level here. It's either that or like another land, but I don't think I need the land. I think this card is just so powerful. Wolves and Werewolves? I have 1. Okay, so I'm not going to take Moonlight Hunt. Guess I'll take a Provisioner if I need a body. This is good in a grindy matchup. I'm not going to mainboard it, but... yeah, as good as Hinterland Logger is, I'm going to take the 3-drop. And it makes my Mockery of Nature better. Maybe I don't need the Weirding Wood. Maybe I can cut that card. Forbidden Alchemy is awesome, but my deck already kind of does that, and I don't really want to splash blue, so I'll take the Spinner for the sideboard. Same thing. I guess I do want another Weirding Wood, if that's going to be the pick. Especially if I'm going to splash some things. Alright, so we have a million ways to get Delirium and only 1 payoff, but we actually have a lot of flashback and things too, so the Vessels and the Grapple actually sets that up pretty nicely. If I just cut the Port Town, it's going to come into play tapped a decent amount of the time, because I only have 6 planes. So what if I just cut Feeling of Dread and Port Town? Then I'm only splashing on Burial Rites. And I could do that off Swamp, Forsaken Orchard, Foul Orchard. I don't even necessarily need to play the Weirding Woods, which would actually be pretty nice because my deck has so many 3-drops. So the Weirding Wood is kind of awkward. So if I could do that... oops, I definitely want you. Deck still. Like 3 sources for Burial Rites, 3 sources for Lingering Souls, but also Wildfield Scarecrow. I have Byway Courier to sacrifice to the Mockery, but I could also mill it and then just bring back a 6/5. We have 5 humans to bring back with Bruna. Is it just cutting Shrill Howler? That's what I did the last time I had a deck like this. Or do I cut a spell? Because I do have 2 Gnaw to the Bones, so the 13 creatures is pretty nice to flip them all over. I mean, we could cut to Mio's Journal from the main. But I kind of like it. because it just gives us inevitability. I could also just cut one knot of the bone. It's not very good in matchups where, like, it's only good in certain matchups. So maybe that's the actual answer. And then, like, depending on the matchup, I can bring in the second knot of bone and cut Tamio's journal, but I'd rather be prepared for the late game. Icon Bishop fuels clues anyways. Creature spell with mana 3 or less. We have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can still make quite a lot of clues there. What do I think about this? This gives me 13 creatures for the 1 Knot of the Bone, which is nice. Yeah, I think just playing 2 Knot of the Bones, but only 12 creatures is not good. So we have to cut a spell at that point, so it might as well just be Knot of the Bone. And again, all it does is provide life, but this deck does... It has a lot of really powerful plays on turn 3. So I feel like I'm not going to fall that far behind, so I don't need the Knot of the Bone as much in the main deck. Plus I have Apothecary Geist. And a bunch of ways to stem bleeding. So I think that's solid. So 13 creatures, 3 instants, 2 sorceries, 3 artifacts, and 4 enchantments. A really good mix. But like I said, I'll have Delirium pretty easily. Then we have 8 green sources and 8 white sources. And 3 black sources. So 883 plus the Wildfield Scarecrow is pretty fantastic. If I have Plains early and Thraben Inspector, that can help me find green. Green early, but no white, I can use Vessels and Grapples to find white. So that's also pretty nice. So I think we're all set. And if I need to, I can use Epitaph Golem to loop my deck if we get to that point. Would be nice if we had like a spider spawning, but we don't. And then so sideboard options, we have the Swift Spinners, we have Increasing Ambition if we think the game's going to go really long. If it's a true like grind amount mirror, I have 2 Weirding Woods plus Startled Awake and Increasing Ambition, so that could be a package if I want to board out some of the more aggressive cards from my deck. Not that I have that many. So yeah, some good options here. All right, let's go for it. All right, perfect. Kind of tricky. I have Thali and Apothecary Geist, so I could just take the Journal. If they kill both my creatures, and then the Bound by Moonsilver is going to help us stabilize, so this just helps us win the long game. And we're ahead right now. The other cards are good, but not that impactful, so I think I am going to take the Journal. See if this dies. It didn't, so that's nice. If I hold back Thalia, I can just block. Or I can Bound by Moonsilver the Conduit and attack for 3. Might be better, because then I could always move it later and I have Journal next turn. And they don't get to ramp something big out. So this just helps me race and slow them down. I think we just Journal, and then if they can kill the Thalia, then next turn I can play Geist to block, and it should still be good. And if this gets way out of control, I can always move the Bound by Moonsilver as well. Well, I could just unburial rights. Get back the Thalia. Is that better than The thing about Apothecary, guys, is that Moonlight Hunt doesn't do it. And I can crack the clue. So maybe I should just crack the clue first, see what's going on. It's a better use of my mana. Alright, didn't really matter. Well, if I move this to the Blood Mad Vampire, they can transform this and hit me for 5. Then I could move it back. I guess I want to do that once there's a clue. Play. It depends if they have even more removal after that. And get back Thalia, that stops that. On the back foot here is pretty tough. If I sack the clue, I can move it here, play a tap land, get back Thalia. Then they have to flip. But they're still going to hit me for 5. So yeah, so maybe I should do that, force their hand. Alright. Hopefully not more. Fortunate. This can block. Really need to like Bruno this turn. I can move this back over, but then I'll have a 4/4. So all 3 will be lethal. Maybe I just need to dig for the 1/1 Death Touch right now. I don't think I have enough in play right now. Oh, I could bring back the 2/3 Spirit. That, bring back the 2/3 Spirit. Move that over. Double block. Maybe I need Lingering Souls. Yeah, they got me this game. I can't get out of it. Just had the answer every time, and a really good curve. How it goes. Do I want another Knot of the Bone? If they kill all my stuff every time, does that help me? Basically, can I set back up? The Bound by Moonsilver's great. Basically, do I have any... I guess Tamio's Journal in this matchup's pretty bad because it's all about tempo. That's where we're saying like the Knot of the Bone would be better. Probably one of like the worst matchups for Tamio's Journal. And we were on the draw. Mockery of Nature, not a great card, but it is nice to be able to reanimate it. Pretty sure all my other cards are decent. I guess Shrill Howler's like not the best. They have a lot of ways to kill it at instant speed. So I could bring in like a 3/3 trample instead, but that doesn't really achieve that much. Probably the cheaper creature is better. If all their removal is damage based, maybe Strength of Arms is good. But I kind of think I'm fine. It's just, they just kind of ran me over. I just needed a little more time, and hopefully the Knot of the Bones are the things that are going to fuel that this next game. Oh, was I on the play game one? I might have been. I don't know. I was saying I was on the draw, but now that I think about it, I might not have been on the draw. We're just going to grapple on turn 2, look for a creature. Guess we get Thraben Inspector, that's fine. Bygone Bishop, even better. Bombardment would be pretty bad for me. What else would be bad for me? Like, I'm tempted to block here. Like, get a 2-for-1 anyways. But I think it's kind of bad to block if I can just stop everything else they're doing. If it's the double strike trip, it takes their whole turn. I kind of just want to block because I get one extra clue if I guess I'm going to get one card either way. So I get a 2-for-1. Yeah, I'm just going to block. Yeah, that was pretty good for them. But now we're the first on the board. And so, like, we were going to get one extra card this turn off Thraben Inspector, but in the grand scheme of things, not that much. And I was kind of afraid of them just using that ramp over and over again, so if I didn't kill this with the clear shot, like, now I can set up and kill the bigger things. Oh my god.
Innistrād's ancient magic. Wild spirits guide our
Problem.
flames.
Guardian Priest? Hope to draw. Well, if I just clear shot it, then I can hit the next thing if they. But then if they +1, clear shot the 2/2, hit it down to 1. If I miss the land on the priest, it's really bad for me. Maybe better just take the land and draw. Kind of think that's bad though. Like, if I draw a land eventually anyways, like, I think we just do this. Get down to 1.
I won't become
Yeah,
prey.
Arlen is going to be difficult to beat. Especially if they double spell.
Unleash the pack.
Maybe I should have taken the land. Kind of just losing to their planeswalker. But I figured if I drew a land anyways, the priest would have been much, much better. So I kind of took a high-risk line.
Show them your fangs.
Yeah, now I'm just dying to a planeswalker. I don't know. Play the flyer while I have a chance. So I can finally kill this. But if they have a removal spell for the flyer, the game's basically over. But I guess, you know, if that's the case, that's the case. Like, if this was the type of card in modern day design where I could stop their planeswalker with it, we wouldn't be in this situation. The good news is I have Thalia, which stops both their creatures. So if they have a bunch of lands, which is kind of what it seems like,
Unleash the pack.
I can now Thalia plus Priest. Kill their Arlen.
The hunt is over.
And maybe stabilize? Nope. Alright, well. Good thing we had a match to give. We got completely slaughtered here. I think our deck is good, but, I mean, I don't know, Planeswalker's hard to beat. I could have taken a slightly different line, gotten the Priest down earlier, but I don't know if that would have really changed things that much this game. It might have. If I had been able to double spell instead. Well, no, I took the 2-drop, so I mean, I would have cracked a clue instead. I don't know if having that extra mana would have really changed things that much. Alright, well, hopefully we went out from here. That was a giant beating. Alright, we'll keep. The danger of not doing anything on turn 2 continues with this deck. But we got a really good 3-drop. That's kind of good insurance for if this Thalia dies. Though, we have to get to that point of the game. I see. Well, I haven't barrel right, so I kind of just want to trade off my Thalia. And just hit their Topplegeist. If they have Angelic Purge or their own Bound by Moonsilver, though, then that play is pretty bad. So maybe I should just Bound by Moonsilver their Thalia. Play around that. Because right now we're only taking 1 a turn. And the Tamiyo's Journal can take over the game on its own. Also, the white-black English I'm making also exiles things. So I think relying on Thalia staying in play, if they do have a removal spell, it's likely to incapacitate in a way that Unburial Rites doesn't even help me that much. So I'm gonna have to use this more as a like a vessel target once they're done doing all their stuff. Unfortunately, all my stuff is gonna come into play tap, but I just gotta get the journal down. Yeah, that is gonna be an issue. Gonna speed up the Topplegeist. I think we just crack this. Actually I want to tap double white. Guess I draw a vessel. Okay, that was pretty decent. I could see moving the bound by Moonsilver to the Topplegeist next turn. With a land, we can Bruna back the Thalia. With no land, I think I just cracked the clue here. That's pretty good. Should help us stabilize next turn. So everything is getting tapped down. The Thalia is a big issue. We're at 9. More things. 4 plus 2. Alright, can't attack, but I can bring back Thalia. And then what's our plan from there? I can move the Bound by Moonsilver on the Topplegeist only because if they tap down my creature and tap again, then I take 6 damage and go to 3. But if they do that, I'll have basically stabilized. So maybe I don't need to. But I will chump. Yeah, the priest is kind of messing me up. I have clear shot, so I could kill this guardian priest by sacking things to the journal. I can also find Mockery of Nature in my deck, which could kill the Slayer's Plate. Bunch of different options. Ooh, or I could just do that. Yeah, that's a good point. Alright, so I think I'm gonna lock it down. Flashback Lingering Souls. And hold back one blocker. Do that. Back with this. Well, I could attack all because this, now if they kill this and get rid of the... It's better to attack with it like this and leave back one. Coming in for 9 damage. And anything they play is going to be on defense now as well. I can just flash this back. As long as we don't get like Bump in the Knighted, we're fine. Wouldn't be a card I don't think in their deck, but you never know. End of turn, do I crack Clue or do I sacrifice my Scarecrow for mana? Mana lets us start cracking more clues for free, but I lose a good defensive piece on the board. But I have 4 spirits. I don't really need the defensive piece in play. Like, the board is pretty stable at this point. Okay. They have power-based shenanigans. I think I'm just going to go get lands, because I'm going to want to Burial Rights the Bruna back next turn. Although if I'm going to do that, I think the creature in play might be better. So maybe I should just draw a card. And now I can attack with 2 spirits and the Thalia. Maybe the Dryad too. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures back. And they have 3 attackers. I mean, they can move the Slayer's Plate, but they tap something and I can block the flyer there. I'm going to grapple. And I guess get back a land. Or I could get back a... I could get back the Mockery. Sack the Scarecrow. Destroy Slayer's Plate. Or get back Priest, and then I can play Priest, but then I can't Burial Rights. But I could just play it. Pretty solid. Artifact creature. Oh, I could also sacrifice Wildfield Scarecrow to give Delirium right now. But I think it's better to hold my cards for Knot of the Bone in case I need them. Like instant speed, I could go get Knot of the Bone which is the reason that I'm holding my mana this way. Because being able to, like, demonic tutor at any point gives me so many options at my disposal, and it's kind of insane. And these turns are incredibly complicated because any misstep based on what they could have can really change the trajectory of the game. But I don't want to give... I also want to give them the least number of turns possible. Ooh, that's a problem. I don't think I can do anything about that. Instant speed. Hmm. That's so good against Lingering Souls. Alright. Do I want to sacrifice this right now? Or do I just want to draw? Well, I think I'm going to draw first. Kind of nice to be able to tutor, but maybe it's better to just draw. Okay. Let's see, if I sacrifice this, I only have 2 blockers, but I get them down to 2 life. But they could also use the priest to tap this anyway, so I guess I should just sacrifice it. We have clear shot, and that's basically the only interaction we have left. And the Knot of the Bone. So I'm gonna draw a card first. Well, no, actually, I'm just gonna play Unburial Rites. I want to have the Sigardian Priest up in case they somehow get rid of our enchantment. All my non-humans are tapped already. Definitely stressful here. Like, this is a really close game. Wow, that sucks. Had I moved this and then tapped this down, I could have played around that. I could have played around Subjugator Angel if I was thinking about it. That's really bad. Although, if I had moved it off the topple guys and they killed my Sigardian Priest, then I would have lost because of that. So, kind of awkward. Okay, gotta shake that off. I do think the Journal is good. It's a grindy matchup. This one's kind of bad against Priest. Although I'm on the play. The one auto bone is still good. I don't know that I need more. Maybe I should have just not cracked the clues before and just made sure I had enough life. Probably a mistake. I gave up inevitability by trying to go faster. I do think I want a Swift Spinner though, so how do I get that into my deck right now? Is Shrill Howler the answer? No, this card's not even that good against them because they have a bunch of equipment. So hopefully I can just get out a little bit of a head and then actually use my Thalia to good effect. The problem last game was they curved 1, 2, 3, etc., and I just had a turn 3 Thalia. If we can get Scarecrow online on turn 3, we can go get Horus and keep this hand going. Pretty good. Kind of an awkward one. This isn't the most mana optimal, but it means that I can play around them just equipping Slayer Plate and hitting us in the face. Let's go get 2 Horus. Play Dryad and Shrill Howler, I think. I mean, if they're locking down the Shrill Howler every turn, that also has its own issue. Okay, so that means that flipping this just isn't very good. So probably what I want to do is just Mockery away the Slayer's Plate then. And then we get Bygone Bishop online, Neo's Journal, and all this good stuff. I mean, I will block. Function light. Okay. Vessel first, see what's going on. We can bound by Moon Silver. Next turn. Right now, I'm just going to play the journal. We're not really in danger of dying, so getting that into play is valuable. I think not taking damage is more important than the lifelink. Although I do have clear shot, so I could use it on the angel later, but I think if the game goes long, we're pretty advantaged there, so do that. And it means it'll take us a little longer to kill them, but I think that's okay. Alright, pretty sure we should just crack a clue. Try to find some things. That's a good one. And I can hopefully get them with this clear shot on their turn. It's a little risky, but it's not that risky. I guess if I just kill their angel right now, we're at a stalemate. Not like they can really attack as is. They've already played 2 Anguished Unmakings. I guess I can tap the bishop and then move it to the courier. That's solid. Also, that play, like, kind of incentivizes them to attack. So if I get them to attack me here by moving the bound. Well, also, they might not move it because they already have a clean attack on the flyer. Yeah, so now I get to just kill the flyer and everything is going swimmingly. I'm going to have to speed up my play a little bit because these games are grindy. I might need all my time in game 3. Can't really get anything back right now, but that's... Well, it doesn't even really do anything. I guess it forces them to tap it down. I'd rather chump first. Yeah, I can get back Geist or maybe just Thalia. No, Thalia doesn't do anything. So Thalia does give me a clue. Yeah, I just want to do this. Gain 3 life. Chump block. Bring back my creature from Bruna. I guess I'm not that far behind on the clock, actually. 2 minutes. But I'm going to have to start looping my deck with Epitaph Golem at some point. So I do have to, again, be a little bit careful about that. Alright, try and attack. I can draw first. This was kind of bad. In the sense that I didn't have enough mana. I thought I had one more mana than I had. I don't know, I'm playing sloppily. Oh, I did have one more mana. I just didn't play my land yet. Okay. But this turn, what I wanted to do was crack my clue, play Knot of the Bone, and then Bruna back Thalia. Then I'd have the 5/7 in play. Okay. Well. No attacks. That's good for me. They're probably just going to hope I deck out at this point. But I have a plan for that. Multiple puncturing lines. Right? The deck's not even really that aggressive. They just have aggressive starts. So as long as I just loop the grapple with my golem, it's fine. So grapple needs to just be the last card. I can't move this. So before that, I probably want a clear shot. I want to grab. All right, let's just this. I guess if they kill all of my spirits, then it'll slow things down. But even so, I mean, we do have inevitability. Right? I can crack my clue. Yeah, game 3, I think. Maybe one game 1. It was close. They have so much removal that if they can back up their creatures, I basically can never block. But they don't actually have that much power and toughness. So if anything, maybe I want more Knot of the Bones. Although a lot of their removal exiles. Back all. Alright, we're pretty tight on time. Looking into game 3, they have 2 puncturing blows, so maybe I want aim high to blow those out. Specifically works well with my 3 power creatures. I guess Strength of Arms works even better. On the draw, what else do I want? Anything? Then again, I mean, these combat tricks also are so bad versus the answer all removal that it's kind of awkward. But I only really need to work once. I don't think Shrill Howler is actually good in the map. I could cut a land on the draw. Maybe that's crazy. How good is Sigardian Priest versus them? It's good against Topplegeist. Pretty bad against most of their cards. Most of their cards are humans. Maybe I should just not playing this card. But it is another creature for my Knot of the Bone. I don't really want to cut a land because I think that's a good way for me to lose is just missing land drops. Or I could cut on burial rights. It's been kind of clunky. Not very good against them. If I turbo mill, it is pretty good. Yeah. This is kind of just an extra land though. Maybe I should just cut a plains. Or cut the swamp. I can't go find it with the Wildfield Scarecrow, but maybe that's okay. I still have 2 sources. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I have a lot of ways to find extra lands, but if I just flood out and don't have any way to... As long as I just don't die early, I think we have pretty good inevitability in the matchup. Hand is pretty bad, but I have to keep it, I think. I have bound by Moonsilver on turn 3, which can answer like a Thalia. And then I have the Geist, which should stabilize. Pretty good start. Mold of 5, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Pretty strong. Alright, so we want a Lingering Souls plus Vessel here. Because it'll let me Apothecary Geist. And then just race in the air. I don't really ever want to flash this back anytime soon anyways, because of their removal spell that kills all of them. Thalia is such a card. It's like whoever's ahead, it just puts them way ahead. Okay, we can Bound by Moonsilver that and Scarecrow. And now we can just race. They have Angelic Purge here? That would be huge. Okay. Not too bad. Alright, let's go to combat. Not having the swamp in my deck right now is pretty bad. But it was a risk I was willing to take. We can do this one. And I think just take the Foul Orchard and play it. I can bring back the Priest off the Bruna. So I can sack Scarecrow. Alright, good combat. Tap a bunch of things down. Thalia continues to wreck us. Can never block. But we have 8 mana next turn, so I could Golem and Clear Shot, Golem and Lingering Souls. I could also Mockery if I need to. What we'll do, I think, go to combat. Back. Flow to mana. Alright, and now our creatures aren't going to keep coming to play tapped for the rest of the game, which is good. We both have less than 7 minutes. It's pretty crazy. Okay, that was kind of a weird one for them to play, because now I get a clean attack. Pass. I can tap the Angel. They can sever the Bruna, but that's not going to be enough. Zone. Basically just saving this till they lock down our creature, because they have Bound by Moonsilver as well. Or if they flip their Accursed Witch. Alright, attack with, I guess, all of these. No reason to Mockery, I don't think, right now. Pass. Got him down to 1. Should be able to do it from there. Yes. What a match. What a match. We're still in it. Okay, I'm going to tighten up my play. And then we'll go play for the first round of money here. Alright. Pretty good opener here. Gonna play planes on turn 2. Okay, so probably red blue spells. Could be something else. If they have the 4-1 here, it would be bad. Alright, so just gonna play Thalia, I guess. But I'm also kind of worried about it getting killed. But I can bring it back. Kind of interesting, didn't want to give the extra damage to hide the fact that this is coming down. Maybe Alchemist Greeting here. But as long as there's not a spell, a cheap spell. Sorry, temper. Problem. I mean, we have the Byway Courier next turn, followed by a 3/5. I should still be okay. So they are getting some good value here. But that's a problem. Okay, well, at least they didn't get any value this turn off of the Occultist. However, there's 6 damage in play already. And that's another 5. Card's really hard for me to... Well, not that hard for me to stop. I have removal, but I haven't drawn any. If this Golem goes away, then I'm just going to be dead on board. Okay, pretty good. I can at least eat some creatures and try to gain life off Knot of the Bone. But what creature do I eat? I guess Ravenous Bloodseeker is the worst. Hopefully we can stabilize. Drill Howler. I think I want to leave the Knot of the Bone up. So I should just play this and play my land and pass. Grapple on the bottom. Ooh, that's a good one. That's gonna fly all of these. Actually, no, this can't transform, so not actually as bad as it might look. Still pretty bad. Like the docent is just going off. So should I chump and then Knot of the Bone for an extra life, or Knot of the Bone now? I don't see how I win if I get rid of my 3/5. I go to 8, I still can't win if I block though, so maybe I need to like... I guess if I like block and then Knot of the Bone and get like Bruna off the top. Then how am I like winning the game? Yes. Because if I get Bruin, I can win. Does that do it? Not really. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, basically dead. Dosing of Perfection is insane. My deck kind of just didn't do anything this game, unfortunately. Which is maybe its problem in general. I mean, it might just be a weak deck. Which is why green-white kind of really needs to be humans. I have all the pieces of a Delirium deck, and I just didn't get any Delirium. It's like pretty awkward. I don't know if they just weren't opened or what happened, because green seemed really open. I don't know if it's possible to. I guess I should at least make it look like I'm trying to dig the things. Just dead. Okay, definitely not a Tamio's Journal matchup. All about tempo here. They're playing like the aggro version of the deck. Knocker of Nature also not really good. I think 3/3 body is pretty decent against them. And maybe just the other Knot of the Bone. So race and then gain life. Hopefully we just flood the board with Lingering Souls tokens. Well. Almost want to keep that, but I mean, I do have a lot of flashback cards that are good with the Vessel. Oh, right. What am I getting rid of here? Maybe the Bound? Play that into Vessel. Maybe get Delirium next turn. Take the Scarecrow, I think. They do have to discard a card, so we get the 2-for-1, but I also didn't hit a land, which is really bad. That is kind of scary. I think to keep up with what's going on, I should just Shrill Howler so we can race. They're really setting up here. Thermal Alchemist. I'm worried about dose imperfection at this point. The primary problem. Like on burial rights, on burial rights the golem maybe. It can get bounced, but we put a lot of pressure in play this way. And this sets up, yeah, clear shot to take down the docent. I'm just gonna go for it. If they have lightning axe, we basically lose on the spot, but I don't think I can play around that. I'm gonna crack this for 2 lands right now. This can get back a byway courier. It's great. So we can bound it and then Lingering Souls, or I can make a 5/7, bring back the 3/5. Probably just neutrify this, like nullify it. Like if they're putting that card in their deck, it's gonna be good. Yeah, this is fine. Still sets them back an entire turn. I think I'm just gonna attack. Well, do I attack all? No. Basically, these can chump block, so good news. I do have to be a little bit... Okay, never mind. Careful of that thing getting trample and double strike as a combo kill. Alright, blue-red, pretty aggressive. Raven Inspector really good against those 1/3s. Clear Shot is like my best card as a way to kill the 5/4 flyer. And then I think we just race from there. I don't know. This is kind of a tough matchup, but I think we both can get the upper hand pretty easily. Like it can be a pretty clear tempo game, and Not a Bone helps us race. Not a good hand, but I'm gonna keep it. Because with a Forest and the Sigardian Priest, it means I can basically nullify their threat. Oh, they didn't have their 1/3s, so they didn't have either of them, which means they probably have a bunch of really good expensive cards in hand. Because why else keep that hand? Although this is kind of working out. Alright, so we could Bound by Moonsilver and Thraben Inspector and attack. Hopefully no docent imperfection, but it is kind of the way their hand looks like it's developing. So I don't really know how I'm supposed to beat that card here. Oh, they just have multiple guys, I see. I draw land, I can grapple plus tap their creature. Departure is super good. If I take the land, I can Epitaph Golem and tap something down. Byway Courier is pretty great too. This is better in case I just draw another land. If I Byway Courier and Lingering Souls here, that's decent. Or I could Geist and Geist and use my tapper. I think it's better to just gain life. They probably can't get that many creatures and like that many spells off at once. I could bounce a token and I'll take 8. But I'll gain back 3 of it. Just knock, well. They cast 2 spells, I take 14. If they cast 3 spells, I die. That would be pretty unlikely. Because they'd all have to be instants, and I haven't seen that many in the match. Most were sorceries. They have Fiery Temper. Problem. They draw on the tap land here. Not an untap land. We have 4/5, so I could chump that too. I could just play this and go to 1. Block. Like, unfortunately, I didn't draw. I didn't draw land to be able to play this and clear shot. Again, dead to 2 removal spells. They got like a really good version of the blue-red deck. Can't be 2 removal spells because I'd already be dead, right? Well, maybe it can be. If I triple block the Voracious Reader, They probably let me keep my Thraben Inspector. But I can Gnaw to the Bone. Two times. I kind of have to get this out of play. Because I'm going to be in the same situation next turn when they bounce this. Oh, I'm just dead. Okay. There was nothing I could do. Yeah, really good deck there. We had a pretty good run. I mean, I think my deck was like pretty solid. It was not insane, but the werewolf deck we played against was really good, and the blue-red deck we played against was really good, and we had a medium version of a deck that played out all right, but not amazing. And how it goes. But yeah, another fun arena open. I had a good time, and thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next one.